My fellow Americans.
Well, I'm not a crook. I've earned everything I've got.
A man holds in his mortal hand the power to abolish all forms of human poverty and all forms of human life.
That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
One day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character.
He says, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds." I suppose we all thought that.
Today we're going to be discussing April topics and headlines. Just a quick glaze over some of the finer things that happened. Magnificent month of beautiful, magnificent things. First up, oxygen metabolism emerged on Earth before the Great Oxidation Event, study reveals. Just something good to know.
Does that say that the world is rusting over? Isn't that what rust is? Oxidization?
Yeah, but the oxidation event was when, isn't that when oxygen, popped up? The Great Oxidation Event, some 2.4 billion years ago, established the oxygen-rich atmosphere that many living things depend on today. Yeah. When it came to evolving ways to actively use the element for respiration, some strains of bacteria had a head start. So oxygen metabolism emerged on Earth before the Great Oxidation Event. That makes sense, though, if you just consider, the basic idea of, an evolutionary chain is that you would have to get oxygen-producing organs in an organism in order to get, oxygen-producing things. Or in order to get a great oxidation event. You know what I mean? And then they would have to spread around and keep spreading around. All right, next fantastic thing that happened this month, because it was a great month, is that Elon Musk's Platform X faces over $1 billion in a fine from EU regulators. Fun. On Elon Musk, he might also be getting fired from Tesla, according to a report, because he also stepped down from the government this month. And according to the report, he might have done so much crazy damage to the company that now he has to step down. Good on him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't know he stepped down from the government.
Well, he might have to. That's what people are saying. And he's I guess he's went on a tirade yesterday about how he's not actually stepping down and shit like that. But I don't know. I think that this has done a lot of damage to Tesla. I used to think Tesla was a great car, and now I just see Tesla getting donked on or dunked on or whatever.
You think it's going to go the way of the DeLorean?
The way of the DeLorean. Well, wouldn't Elon Musk have to sell a shit ton of coke and get caught by the FBI in order for that to happen? It does kind of have DeLorean looks about it.
Instead of selling cocaine, he's selling autistic white supremacy.
Selling autistic white supremacy. He's like, yo, I'm in a club with Kanye, and everyone's like, that doesn't even make any sense. All right, so
what if what if he just posted on Twitter that he's like, I'm Kanye's cousin?
I'm Kanye's cousin.
You know what I'm saying?
That would be hilarious.
You know what I'm talking about?
Because he's African?
That was hilarious, dude. That was great. Look up Kanye West's most recent famous tweet. You don't even have to read it. Just your reaction would be very, very entertaining.
Well, I kind of want to read it real quick, too.
Read it, but don't read it out loud unless you want.
Kanye West recent tweet. Love to 50 Cent. That's not so bad.
No, look up the tweet about his cousin. It set the world on fire when they saw what he posted.
Wow. This is all very weird. It sounds like he's being pretty honest.
Pretty crazy if he is.
I mean, I'm reading an article right now about it, and it's combining a lot of things that he said, and it all makes a lot of sense.
Somebody said that this is a humiliation ritual. What's your take on that?
I mean, I feel like all he's had are humiliation rituals, so...
Yeah, where's the upside? I mean, he's still rich, you know?
You know what's funny, though, is remember how we were talking about how, April is the latter half of April, a lot of bad shit happens, and it's considered, the time of ball or whatever. Well...
You were telling me that.
Well, we also read something about that, too. I think maybe there's something to it. Maybe people feel wild around like April, at the end of April. Maybe they just start acting out.
Acting a fool.
I don't know. But I'm not gonna say what he said on there, but if anyone's interested, Kanye just went off apparently. That was this month that he said all that shit. Let's just roll with it. I think that was
Yeah.
this month.
Still big news. That's in 2025.
April 22nd. So yeah, that was this month news. So that was good. That was perfect. I did not hear about that. But I'm still amazed at Kanye getting a Super Bowl commercial and then using all the money, like millions of dollars that he was supposed to pay for the Super Bowl commercial on paying for like new veneers or whatever, or like new teeth or something.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, and then he recorded himself in the dentist getting the teeth done, saying like, I was supposed to like spend money on this commercial, but I got these teeth. And then he goes, go to Yeezy.com. And it's one of the funniest things ever.
How expensive were the veneers? Like, what? Why are they so expensive?
I don't know. I think he said he spent like $9 or $10 million on the commercial, or that's what he was supposed to spend.
He got like the most masterfully crafted veneers possible. I don't get it. Are they like real teeth from other people? Real perfect? Why are they $9 million?
I mean, they're probably. When I saw them, do you want to watch the commercial real quick? Let's just watch that real quick for posterity.
I've seen it.
Did I show it to you, or did you just see it
I've
on
seen it
your
before.
own? Oh, where
Yeah, I've
he's
seen
in
it.
he's wearing like the sunglasses and shit.
You can put it on.
No, it's cool. If you've seen it, you've seen it. Let's see. We got the CIA aliens massacre UFO Siberia declassified. I mean, that was just a mashup of the URL, but that's a pretty interesting one. That was one from this month that was kind of crazy. A chilling declassified CIA file reveals aliens committed revenge massacre after UFOs shot down. You might have heard about this. Allegedly, they turned the soldiers into stone.
Let's do that one.
Yeah. Bone-chilling document declassified by the CIA has exposed an alleged massacre by aliens from a crashed UFO who turned an entire military unit into stone. According to the report, Soviet troops shot down a flying saucer hovering over the Soviet military unit in Siberia roughly 35 years ago, and what happened next was truly terrifying. In the document, summarizing a 250-page top-secret file acquired by U.S. intelligence agents, eyewitnesses said 5 aliens climbed out of their wrecked craft, combined themselves into one creature, exploded in a burst of intense energy, and turned 23 soldiers into solid rock. One CIA official referred to the shocking battle as a horrific picture of revenge on the part of extraterrestrial creatures, a picture that makes one's blood freeze. The agency added that the extremely menacing case proved the aliens who visited Earth possessed weapons and technology far beyond the U.S. government's assumptions, suggesting they were already aware of the aliens' existence. The unearthed document, declassified in 2000, was recently the topic of the AI or Evil podcast, where host Josh Hooper revealed that 2 of the soldiers at the UFO crash site actually survived the encounter. However, the 23 petrified soldiers could not be saved. Their remains and the debris from the spacecraft were reportedly moved to a secret research base near Moscow. An even more concerning detail of the CIA file is the description of the aliens reportedly involved in this massacre, who have been mentioned in the UFO reports and sightings for nearly 80 years. The subject of the document states, paper reports allege evidence on mishap involving UFO. This extraordinary tale was
Wait. What kind of alien?
Well, that's that. They didn't really.
They didn't say.
No, unless they wanted us to read the actual document that they're talking about, because I think they want us to read the. Hey, it's in Kiev too. That's a little topical, you know.
Yeah.
Let's see if they mention it. The subject of the document states
Wait.
paper reports. Yep.
Wait. Is Kiev? Isn't that in Ukraine?
That's what I was just saying.
So this is when, was this in Russia or was it in Ukraine? Like, what was it at the time?
It was the Soviet Union. I'm pretty sure.
Right. So like, what if the reason why they want that area right now is because there's like an alien base there?
I mean, that could be it. That could be very well what it could be.
There's like a giant mothership underneath the earth.
Just shooting like laser beams that turn people to stone all around him. This sounds like what Medusa was back in the day. So, like, what if Medusa was actually like an alien that turned people to stone with some kind of ray gun?
Go. What else?
What else? Like, what else is there that turns people to stone? Or
What else is like Medusa was a woman, right? The three Gorgons.
oh, that's the only one that I can think of off the top of my head. I'd have to refresh on my Greek mythology.
Honestly, man,
Yep.
UFOs I take very seriously. It's hard for me to take it lightheartedly.
Yeah.
I have all real questions.
So we should get into this though. Either way, but
Okay.
to the only two soldiers who survived. When the soldiers approached the craft, the 5 aliens freed themselves of the debris and came close together near the wreck. The Soviets, for unknown reasons, launched a surface-to-air missile at the UFO, sending it crashing to Earth near the unit's position. Moments later, the soldiers said the group of aliens merged into a single object that acquired a spherical shape and a simpler language, the aliens being somehow morphed into a giant ball. That's when the new ball-like alien began to buzz and hiss before igniting into a brilliant white light.
What?
With the soldiers still looking on, the ball of light erupted like a giant flare of energy, turning 23 of the 25 Soviets into stone poles. The report stated that the only reason 2 of the men survived was because they were standing in a shaded area at the time of the alien energy blast. That's weird. Had somehow changed living tissue into a substance that closely resembles limestone. The CIA document added that a source of energy that is still unknown to Earthlings was somehow responsible for the blast, which fatally transformed the Soviets. Even in 2025, the science behind such a shocking transformation is still difficult to explain medically and technologically. They described the aliens as short humanoids with large heads and large eyes, so Greys. And the alleged alien and other who believe in alien refer to a race called the Greys. All right, so there you go.
But they said that they morphed together into a giant ball alien?
Yeah, exactly.
That's weird, right?
Yeah, that's
You know what that reminds me of?
what?
Martian Manhunter. Like shape-shifting aliens.
Or the Thing.
Or the Thing.
See, that almost reminded me of the Flatwoods Monster we talked about recently. Remember how the Flatwoods Monster set off a siren and then ended up like spewing this weird gas around? Maybe it was a toxic gas or something, or maybe because it detected it was children, it was putting out a more basic like system of deterrence. You know what I mean?
That'd be cool.
Because the Soviet soldiers obviously had guns drawn on this thing, so they would have detected that all these things were to destroy, like, you know, them. And they're psychic too. They can detect intention, so they can detect if someone's confused and hostile versus confused and scared. You know what I mean? Let's see. I'm just gonna read the name of this article. The American Age is over. It appears it is, and we killed it, like Nietzsche said. Climate crisis on track to destroy capitalism, warns aliens ensure fun. John Kennedy reacts to Donald Trump tariffs. Fun, another one. Donald Trump tariffs could push U.S. into recession. Yada, yada, yada. We all heard the story before. We all know tariffs going on. U.S. going in recession. I think the world's going to collapse. Whatever. Shit happens. Anyways, NATO warned over internet blackouts in wake of subsea cables. I think that's kind of a fun story. Did you hear about that one? Or we've talked about that, right?
What?
Russia, I guess, is like going in like around these subsea cables that like connect like the world's internet and shit. They've been spotted in the region with like 10 warships, and in the same region, like 3 or like 4 of the subsea cables in that region have like gone out. Which, if that like goes out, like Europe would like lose internet, and like blackouts would happen.
Wait, is that why Spain happened?
I was just gonna say that that's not why Spain happened, supposedly. So here's a quick segue, because we can, tariffs happen and all that shit, and that's happening, yada yada. China blackouts because of the subsea cables is a potential thing, but we did have blackouts in Spain, and according to Portugal, who was measuring the blackout, yeah, that Spain had like an abnormally high output of like energy or heat or at some point, and it caused like a blackout, which is kind of crazy to think about. So I'm wondering what happened there. We're probably not going to find out.
Maybe they were trying to make some crazy energy source.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. And if you look on the map, I seen a map of of that area, and CERN is actually like right on the border. Like one of the CERN facilities is on the border of Spain and France, which is kind of wild if you think about it. I don't know if it's in actually France or in Spain, and if it was caused by like an overheating or something like that within Spain, then I don't think that would, if it was a France thing, it probably wouldn't have affected that. It probably would have affected France more. But just weird shit to think about. You know, China slapped retaliatory tariffs on us. We know we're in a trade war with China, yada yada. Mexico warns of potential against potential U.S. drone strikes on cartels. I guess we were talking at the beginning of this month about, or at least the government was talking about drone striking Mexico, which would turn like the southern border into like a basic war zone, which would be wild. That would be like crazy if like we start shipping people down to the border. What else we got? Trump signed an executive order to wipe out every environmental wildlife protection act of the last 100 years. So it's going to pop off with that. Chinese military officers have been present behind Russian lines with Beijing's approval. Fun. NATO chief warns Russia is considering placing nuclear weapons in space. Again, really fun. U.S. and Iran to begin critical nuclear talks as Trump threatens war. We're really ramping up this whole World War III thing. I feel like these headlines are literally just a progression of World War III in action.
Hilarious.
Isn't it? It's crazy. Europeans sidelined in U.S.-Iran nuclear talks despite holding key card. The UN falls to 2007 lows as U.S. tariffs on China kick in. I actually kind of like running through these in like fast, like pace mode. U.S. ambassador to Ukraine to resign her post early. Wicked. I wonder if she's taking her kids and getting the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
Wicked Wonderland, Central Florida woman arrested after selling human bones in curio store, police say. Oh, we got another one. For people that don't remember, had someone who, in our last headlines episode, we had somebody who actually, who tried to dig toes out of the garbage and then sell it on the black market. Now, happening appropriately in Florida, Florida woman has been arrested after police say she bought and sold human bones in her curio store. Curio? Is that like a curiosity store? Kimberly Shopper,
Yeah.
Schopper, it might be, or Shopper, 52 is facing charges of trading in human tissue. Fun. Record show Shopper. Try saying that 5 times fast. Was released Friday from the Volusia County Jail on a bond of $7,500. Deltona, Florida. Don't they mean Daytona, Florida? I refuse to acknowledge anything else. A Florida woman has been arrested after police say she bought and sold human bones in her curiosity store. The Orange City Police Department, that's a great name, Orange City. The Orange City Police Department says 52-year-old Kimberly Shopper knowingly purchased and offered human bones for sale on Facebook Marketplace. She was facing charges of trading in human tissue. What we know, the Orange City Police Department said it received a report on December 21st, 2023 regarding a business within the area of attempting to sell human bones. The report included images from the business Facebook page, which officers said advertised various human bones for sale. Fun. The woman who made the report identified the business as Wicked Wonderland, which is located, we don't need to dox her, just in Orange City. Investigators said they found the following human remains for sale on the store's website. 2 human skull fragments for $90. A human clavicle and scapula for $90. A human rib for $35. Why just one human? Oh, maybe it was she had multiple human ribs and
I think a rib should be worth more. Because a rib's kind of cool.
a human rib at $35 and a human vertebrae at $35 and a partial human skull at $600.
But why the skull? Like, what? Like,
why partial? Was it like blunt force trauma or like a gunshot wound?
maybe like she sold parts of it for money when she didn't want to get rid of the whole thing. She was like, "Here, I'll let you have it."
We'll let you have the. Officers said they went to the store and spoke with one of its owners, who told them the business had been selling human bones for years and was unaware it was illegal to do so in Florida. That's hilarious! That's the funniest thing about this whole thing. She was doing it for years and was unaware it was illegal in Florida. She was like, this is Florida. What the fuck are you talking about? We can't sell bones here? What are you talking about? That was great. He confirmed the store had multiple human bone fragments, all purchased from private sellers, and mentioned she has documentation for these transactions but could not provide it at that moment. Oh, maybe she was just plain stupid the whole time. That's probably why. An arrest affidavit reads, she described the bones as genuine human remains and delicate in nature. She was pulling a Hillary Clinton email situation. She's like, I didn't know this shit was illegal. Therefore, because I didn't know, it doesn't matter. Just to bring it back about 10 years ago. That was a good one.
That's good.
She was released on bond. All right, that was a fun one. That was really fun. And that, you know what? That was less depressing than the last story about human remains. I like that we're getting slightly less depressing human remains stories. That one was kind of whimsical.
Whimsy.
Yeah. Oh, here's a whimsical one. Nevada man arrested after 7 emotional support tigers seized from his home. That's whimsical.
Oh, that is whimsical.
You know what I mean? That's not World War III. Let's get into it. A Nevada man arrested after 7 emotional support tigers are seized from his home. Carl M. I'm not going to say the full names from now on unless they're important people. I don't want to dox these poor fellas. This guy's 71. Don't need to be hitting him up about his tigers. People are already doing that on NBC News. Go to NBC if you want Carl M's actual name. I am not going to say Carl Mitchell on here. Anyways, Carl Mitchell, 71, didn't have the proper permits to own the animals, and he violated other rules over the years, the sheriff's office said. Again, coming from NBC News.
Did he? Wait, hold on. All I need to know is, did he even take those tigers for walks?
I don't know. I mean, maybe.
Then he should. If he didn't, he should own them.
Are you reading this?
No, I'm listening to you read it.
This is the second paragraph. We have received information over the years that he has been seen walking the tigers loose around the property, off the property, in the desert. Sheriff Joe McGill said in an interview. So he was a good owner. There have been social media posts from him with people interacting with the cats, which is also in violation. Imagine that. He's got tigers and people are like, oh, this is cool. Let me take a Snapchat with it or post on TikTok. Mitchell told KSNV he did not need permits because the tigers are his emotional support animals and the public was not in any danger from them. That's a great, defense? If I was on the jury, dude, I would be like, you know what? This guy needs the 7 emotional support tigers. Not a tiger less, not a tiger more. Unless he feels he truly needs a tiger more. Or one of them dies.
Triad of love.
It's beautiful, really. Like, this is the kind of stories that we need nowadays. Like, I mean, he shouldn't have got arrested. That's not beautiful about it. But just him, having emotional support tigers and showing them to the community and being like, here, pet my tiger. Watch out, though. He's got claws. And then joking, like, ha, 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 ha. But imagine, like, he's just joking. But one day there's that moment where the tiger, when one of the stupid fucking, like, influencers are petting it, he just, like, locks eyes at the wrong way and sees the influencer's soul of being, like, a dark and decrepit, fucked up, like, human being. And all of a sudden the tiger goes...
The tiger can sense when people are bad?
But yeah, of course. Don't you know that? That's why he needs 7 of them. Anyways, so this tiger senses that this influencer with his douchey haircut, he swipes at him, and then he goes, oh my gosh, this tiger tried to eat me. And then one day this dude gets arrested and all of his tigers get put down. That would be probably the most likely outcome, I think, if this dude, like, kept his tigers. But you know what? They were good tigers. I don't think they should get put down.
Yeah, that's pretty fucked up.
Sometimes dogs eat their owners after they die, which is kind of crazy. You know what I mean?
That's not that fucked up. That's just kind of like, it's not their fault. They don't know.
Well, that's the process. I think the fucked up part is what happens after to the dog, more so than anything else. But yeah.
Yeah.
Next story. Spare human bodies to be grown in artificial wombs and can serve as, quote, meat. How does that sound? How does that grab you? Extra, extra. Human meat grown in bodies. Eat it. Eat it.
Eat it while you can before it
Eat
sells out. Who's gonna not buy this?
Soylent Green is people.
What if they just instead start to like make cannibalism cool because all of the celebrities in the world are cannibalistic Satanists, and then we just kind of like want it in like 100 years?
I don't know, man. You know, what if the left-hand path is kind of cool now? Like, you know what I mean? Not today, Satan. So, like, you know what I mean? Maybe. I think eating people could eventually be a cool thing to people. It's already to some people. We should... Oh,
Yeah.
dude, we should do a whole
Just like
cannibals
African
episode.
warlords do that.
Dude, how about that guy in Germany who put on, like, a Craigslist ad where he...
Oh, I
he
know all
asked
about
for...
that.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So this guy in Germany, so apparently he put on Craigslist an ad where he wanted to find some dude who was, you know, trying to off himself. The ad was basically like he wanted to surrender somebody to surrender themselves to him so that they can eat him or that he can eat them. This one dude answered the ad, so he ended up getting this guy who said that he was like suicidal or something in the house. And this dude ended up like at the end like not wanting to go through with it because he realized maybe it was just a cry for help or something. So this cannibal dude ends up trying to lock the guy in and trying to eat him, like trying to fucking keep this guy prisoner and tries to eat this dude. Like, no, you answered the ad. I'm getting my fucking meat, basically. Like, dude fucking approached him with knives. I forgot how he got out of it. And he fucking ended up, like, going to the cops and being like, yo, this dude tried to fucking eat me. I'm sorry for trying to be, like, you know, trying to off myself, but this dude tried to fucking eat me. So then they arrest this dude, and, yeah, he was trying to eat people. He had, like, some kind of, like, fetish, like Army Hammer allegedly does also.
Yeah.
Isn't that a fun one? We should definitely have a Cannibals episode, and we should, like, talk all about Army Hammer and how he is allegedly super into cannibal fetishes. And he might have a necklace made out of like human bones or toes or something like that, allegedly.
I'm pretty sure he was on the Your Mom's House podcast pretty recently.
Oh, we should totally ask him like what was up with that. Like, dude, do you really want to eat? You know what I think it is to digress real quick from the artificial wombs. You know what my theory on a lot of these rich people being cannibals and being super into it or having like cannibal fetishes? Did I ever tell you what my theory is on that? Specifically,
Probably,
this dude.
Go ahead.
Probably, but so specifically this dude. I remember I kind of came to the conclusion in my head that like. So Army Hammer, I don't know if you're familiar with him, but he is an actor. But his family he's the heir to the Armand Hammer Company, which if you're unfamiliar, they got, the baking soda company. Like there's a lot of shit that they put out. And this is going back to like the early 1900s. His family is loaded. So think about a dude who gets everything he wants in life. And he just is able to go anywhere, gets every door open for him, can literally do anything he wants in life. What's the one thing that he can't attain? That's total control over another person. So what that might be in his mind is having, total control over another person and eating them. Or like, I think Danny McBride kind of was like that in the This Is the End movie where he didn't even really care about eating people, but it was like the power over them. And that he wanted to stay alive too. But, I don't know, just something to think about. An Atlanta bagpiper died while scuba diving. The skeletal remains of his missing son were then found on his property. That's a fun one. Did you hear that one?
Say that again?
An Atlanta bagpiper died while scuba diving. The skeletal remains of his missing son were then found on his property.
What the fuck?
Isn't that crazy?
Is there a connection to it, or are those just two horrible coincidences?
An Atlanta bagpiper died while scuba diving. The skeletal remains of his missing son were then found on his property. Hank France had been missing for 4 years when his family found his skeletal remains in a treehouse on his father's property. A family found the remains of their missing brother inside a treehouse on their father's property after he died in a scuba diving accident earlier this month. Henry France Jr. died while scuba diving in Maui, Hawaii on March 10th. When his family went to settle his affairs at his Decatur home in Georgia on March 16th, they found skeletal remains inside a treehouse on his property. Local police told The Independent in a statement. The family believe the bones belong to their 28-year-old brother, Hank France, who they say went missing 4 years ago. The remains are indeed Hank's. The office confirmed on Thursday morning. You know what? I think this is on it. I'll be honest with you. At first, I thought maybe the dad killed him. I'm gonna keep reading, but it seems like maybe this kid had some issues and probably just like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He just had a nice, good nap up there in the treehouse and just never woke up. Hank's remains are anywhere from months to years old, Benicio Lovelace, director of operations from the medical office, told The Independent. The only thing I could think about this is if they find blunt force trauma. Any further determinations about the time or cause of death will be difficult, given the office only has skeletal remains to work with. With skeletal remains, determining cause and manner of death is sometimes difficult, if not impossible, because unless there is some obvious trauma to the skeleton, then we can't be definitive about other potential causes of death, Lovelace said. The investigation is even more complicated because Hank didn't live at the father's house. France Jr. had an active lifestyle and was seldom visited by his surviving family as they lived in different states, his daughter told the Daily Mail. If someone is decomposing but not yet a skeleton, then we might look for mail in the mailbox or when was the last time the neighbor saw the person you know, or something like that to try to narrow down that time frame, Lovelace said. But the longer someone has been deceased, the harder that is, and with the individual, since he was not a full-time resident at the house, things like the mail and that kind of thing are not going to help us, she added. However, investigators did find hair on the remains, which they have sent off for testing. According to Lovelace, no foul play is expected in either case, police said. So, yeah, doesn't sound like it. Henry was a prolific bagpiper and founding member of the Atlanta Pipe Band. His close friend Leonard Wood told WSB TV. Henry just saw them, heard them, liked them, Wood said. He will be sadly missed by the piping community in Atlanta and other places, he added. The Atlanta Piping Band also mourned Henry in a post on Facebook. That's sad. All right. That was kind of that was less crazy than I thought it was going to be. Like, a lot less crazy. But that wasn't bad.
Yeah, like they strung those two things together to make them sound crazier.
They did. They made it sound way too ambiguous in the title.
Yeah, it's just a horrible coincidence.
Yeah, exactly. Most likely. The White House Director of Science Technology just said that we have technologies that permit us to manipulate time and space. That's fucking crazy. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, I was telling you about that.
I mean, I had already heard. I woke up hearing about that because it was all over like YouTube and shit.
The other day, right?
Yeah, that shit was crazy, dude. I mean, what do you think? Do you think it's time travel they're talking about? Do you think it's
Do you remember that? Do you remember that video I sent you? The Jimmy Dore video, where it's him talking to that guy talking about the missing flight.
Yeah, MH370. You think it's teleportation technology is what they're talking about?
That's what that guy thinks.
Didn't that guy also mention that it might have been like some kind of vaporizing technology, that it could have been like 3 large atoms like swinging together, and then when they hit all together, it just vaporized the thing?
I mean, that would be horrible, but possibly. Or it's a wormhole.
I thought that's what the guy said. Next one. Largest single flood may have filled Mediterranean 5 million years ago. We were actually just talking about that. Literally like the other day. Which is funny because I don't remember putting this article on here. But we were talking about, remember, wait, 5 million years ago. That's too far back. Unless humanity is 5 million years old.
Read that again.
A little over 5 million years ago, water from the Atlantic Ocean found a way through the present-day Strait of Gibraltar, according to the theory. Oceanic water rushed faster than a speeding car down a kilometer-high slope towards an empty Mediterranean Sea, excavating a skyscraper through on its way. Yeah, but we've found cities in the Mediterranean, unless there was a larger tsunami later on that wiped them out and they had port cities along that water. That's the only thing I could think, honestly.
Oh, yeah.
The Mediterranean at the time was largely dry and salty basin with so much water poured in that filled up just a couple of years, maybe even just a few months. At its peak, the flood discharged about 1,000 times the water of modern-day river. At least that's the thesis one of us put forward in a 2009 study of an underwater canyon excavated along the Strait of Gibraltar, which he presumed to have been carved out by the massive flood. If correct, and some scientists do dispute the theory, the so-called Zanclean megaflood could be the largest single flood recorded on Earth. Allegedly. But, yeah, interesting. So that means Italy could have been bigger. That sucks for Italy. And Greece. Greece could have been bigger, too. They could have had a lot more land that they could have conquered.
More land to fight over.
Yeah, that's what exactly. Bad omen. Ancient pyramid in Mexico collapsed into a pile of rubble. Is that bad? Why is that bad?
Well, you kind of want the ancient pyramid to stay. So,
I know, but why is that a bad
Yeah.
omen? Maybe it like signifies a rebirth, because then you can take the
I didn't say it
stones
was a bad
and
omen. I just
rebuild.
said it was bad. I'm just saying it's bad. It sucks that it happened.
Oh yeah, it definitely sucks that it happened. Extreme weather events and a rising sea are putting precious heritage sites around the world in harm's way. Oh, it is a bad thing. A stunning example of this phenomenon in 2024 was the stone pyramid in Mexico succumbing to an increasingly chaotic global climate. On the night of July 29th, the 15-meter-high square monument located in the state... Why are we talking about this now if this was July 29th? State of Michoacan suddenly slumped under the pressure of incessant rain, its south wall crumbling into a pile of rubble. That does suck. It was first occupied 1,100 years ago by indigenous Nahuatl speaking groups. Later, it became headquarters of the Parapacas people, the only empire the Aztecs couldn't conquer. The culture still thrives to this day. That's actually pretty cool. Yeah, right?
Really cool.
Yeah.
Well, hey, they should repair it. That's what I would do.
They should.
Yeah. That's what I would do if I was down. Get work, start.
Yeah. No, I mean that's definitely what their heritage society should do, like of the country. We talked about this one, but what do you think it is? Starship-like structure found inside Area 51 sparks military and alien speculation. We saw a picture of it, or I think we both did, right?
Mm-hmm.
And to me, it just looks like a really advanced, like, antenna, like some cyberpunky type technology that's like just some really advanced like antenna or tower or something like that. I don't really think it's an obelisk or anything like people are saying it is.
You ever play Infamous Second Son?
No, but I know what it's about, but I don't know what you're connecting with.
There's these like tower things you have to like climb and play people on all over the place. It looks like one of those. I don't know why it looks like one of those to me, but it does.
What is the thing in the game?
Dude, I was not paying attention to what it was. It's like all over the city. It's just one of those things you gotta take out to take over that part of the city, you know?
Oh yeah, I gotcha.
Tower there. Maybe it's like a propaganda radio tower. I don't know.
Yeah, like some kind of comms tower. But no, that makes sense because that looks like what that looked like. Like to me, it looked like a comms tower, just some really advanced one.
Yeah.
One thing that I don't know if I wrote in here, but I just want to mention real quick, the Dies situation with RFK Jr. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Golf clap to him, yada yada yada. If I'm not mistaken, though, that's just a suggestion. There's really nothing that I don't think is.
I've heard that.
I think I've been hearing that from a lot of different people that it's just a suggestion that they're going to enact this, that none of these companies even have to follow through, and there's not going to be any kind of like actual like they're not going to get any shit for actually having these dyes in anything. Like they're not going to get fees or anything like that. It's just a suggestion. It's like saying, hey, don't put sugar in these things. Like They would have had a better idea, a better way of doing it, of putting like stickers on each bag that said like this contains red 40 or some shit. You know what I mean? Like that would have, I think, been even a better idea because then people can see all the shit that they actively use that has all that shit in it. You know what I mean? Like just have like a sticker. This product contains red 40, yellow 5, blue 20 or whatever. I don't know. Those aren't real. Maybe they are. Yeah. Oh, real quick. India tells all citizens to leave Pakistan as tensions rise. Uh, India and Pakistan, a lot of crazy shit's gone down. From what I understand, I'm not going to get too deep into this because I don't fully know, but they've had a war going on, like a Cold War kind of thing, or a soft war, I guess, where they've kind of, for the past like 1,000 years, have been kind of going at each other.
In Pakistan?
India and Pakistan, yeah. I've always known that they've been like tensions between each other, but I didn't know it was like I didn't know the waters ran that deep, so to speak. But
But they were like brothers.
they were like brothers. But so one day, right? I think it's a religious war is what it is. So one day this month, a group of tourists, if I'm not mistaken, that were in Pakistan got stopped by military officials in Pakistan.
I heard about this as well.
Yep. And what ended up happening was a lot of them ended up getting like asked like, "Hey, are you do you worship are you a Muslim or are you Hindu?" Or like asked all like this stuff, like had them try to, from memory say scriptures and shit like that. And
Try to trip them up.
yeah, exactly. Most of them ended up like getting like gunned down, or like a bunch of them ended up getting gunned down. And this like sparked outrage between the two countries. Like India ended up like this. I can't really. This has been like a really quick set of events that have happened, but they've been like fighting each other the past like I think 2 weeks, if I'm not mistaken, maybe a week or two, or a week and a half. And it's just been crazy. Shit's been popping off, and a lot of people have even said that India and Pakistan would be like, where we head into World War III, because it would be such a divisive conflict if it ever actually escalated, and it looks like it's escalating. Crazy shit going down in India/Pakistan.
What side would America choose?
India, most likely, I think, unless we go with the Russians and the Chinese, because I think that would be like a Pakistan thing, but who knows?
Well, all I know is that Kumail Nanjiani is from Pakistan, so I would go with him.
Please don't say that. Don't say that. But
Why?
Kumail Nanjiani is pretty cool, though.
Why? What's Kumail Nanjiani up to? Why is that from knowledge?
I don't know. Imagine Kumail Nanjiani's on a list. That would be crazy. Imagine he gets like
He's one of the Eternals.
He's one of the Eternals. He is on a list technically. Yeah,
person.
he's on the Shield list. Alleged former members of neo-Nazi group claim its leader is Russian spy. That's a fun one. Kiev hit by massive Russian missile and drone attack. 21 injured. People trapped under rubble. Crazy. Shoigu threatens Europe with nuclear weapons if Russia is faced with unfriendly actions. China says there are no negotiations with the U.S. over tariffs. And that was funny because Trump kept saying, like, me and China, we're in negotiations. Everything's going to be good. We're all good here. Everything's all right. And then China's like, nah, we haven't negotiated shit. He's lying to you fucks. You fucks is in like, everybody. But anyways, that's hilarious. And then Pakistan closes airspace for Indian Airlines, warns against water treaty violation as the ties plummet. That's the reason why they were what do you call it? Tensions were rising fast, is because either India or Pakistan, I forgot, one of them cut off the water going to the other country, which would put like the country in turmoil.
There's a conflict that's kind of similar to this going on right now. Would you want to talk about that?
What is it?
One of the countries is Palestine.
I mean, We don't need to get too deep into that topic.
Yeah, you're right.
I will say though, I found new. Here's a one that we can mess around with real quick. News of the weird. This is actually what I kind of want to talk about too. A snake halts a Japanese bullet train after wrapping around the power line. Isn't that crazy?
Nature fighting back.
Nature fighting back. I think it stopped it like at a dime too, so like everybody I think like went like flying and shit. One of the Japan's busiest bullet train lines came to a halt after a snake tangled itself into a power line, causing a power outage. Tokaido Shinkansen trains running between Tokyo and Osaka were suspended from around 17:25 local time on Wednesday. Services resumed at around 1900 local time. Operator Central Japan Railway Company said, according to local media, Japan is currently in one of its busiest holiday seasons. All right, yeah, that was pretty much the story. That was funny, though. Funeral home director gave fake ashes to thousands of grieving pet owners, dumped actual carcasses in landfill. Yo,
Oh my god.
that is so fucked up, but so funny. Like, that's so fucked up. Like, I would be so fucking pissed if I learned that that happened to me. Like, so fucking pissed.
I have pet ashes right now. I would be so angry.
If that was the case, I wonder where this happened. This happened, they wouldn't go in the freezers. Funeral home director gave fake ashes to thousands of grieving pet owners, dumped actual carcasses in landfill. A Pennsylvania funeral home director allegedly built some 6,500 people out of more than $650,000 by promising to cremate their cats and dogs, but instead dumping the animal carcasses in a landfill and giving the pet owners fake ashes. Why wouldn't he just do it? What's the what? It sounds like that's more work to do that than it is to just burn them, isn't it?
Yeah, like why risk getting in trouble?
Why risk getting in trouble? Why carry around like dead animal carcasses when you can just grab them and toss them in the oven and just call it a day?
What if he stopped using it for animal carcasses and started like selling pizzas on the side?
And that was why he stopped using it for any carcasses at all. That's hilarious. That's crazy. What if the reason why he did it was to like get over like some kind of like cleaning thing that he had to do, like a cleaning regulation? Like he just didn't want to clean the thing as much, so he just made it so he'd made money on the side too. Dangerous veterinary tranquilizers now found in most fentanyl samples. What is going on with the veterinarians? Neighbors demand answers after rampant masturbation takes over Seattle Park. What the fuck? I should read these before I say them out loud, but that was a fucking crazy one.
Yeah, that was a good one.
That was nuts. Why? What the fuck is happening? Rampant masturbation takes over Seattle Park? I have to understand what's happening. Residents of a Seattle neighborhood are pushing for the city to do something to stop alleged criminal acts, including rampant public masturbation at their local park. It's got to be the homeless, right?
I know.
A community group, Denny Blaine for All, has sued the city over what is ongoing and unaddressed illegal activity at the park, which is unofficial nude beach. Oh, that's crazy. It's bad activity, Lee Keller, a spokesperson with Denny Blaine Park for All, said, according to King 5 News. It's illegal, it's illicit, it's masturbation multiple times a day by men sitting on the wall, sitting at the park, in view of the homes, in view of everything. And it's non-ending, and it's really troubling. I should say that with a more of a... I should do that in a voice. It's illegal. It's illicit. It's masturbation multiple times a day by men sitting on the wall, sitting at the park, in view of the homes, in view of everything, and it's non-ending. It's really troubling. How was that?
What kind of person was that supposed to be?
It was supposed to be like a dweeby guy from like the 70s or 80s, like the guy from Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, but like back in like when he was a younger guy.
Oh,
You know what I'm talking about?
yeah.
I think I did okay. You've seen better, I'm sure. Let's see. That was an interesting little story. That also sounded like Dennis when he's doing like a fucked up like voice too from Always Sunny.
I liked it.
Oh, thank you. Climber rescued twice from Mount Fuji after returning for lost phone. That's fucking hilarious. That's like a really like crazy headline. China hosts world's first half marathon race between humans and robots. Did you hear about this? This was the thing.
I did not hear about this.
So yeah, I guess they had humans and robots racing in this. I mean that makes sense. That was in the title. Some 21 humanoid robots raced alongside thousands of runners along the 21-kilometer course in Beijing on Saturday. Robots have raced against humans in a half marathon for the first time. Some 21 humanoid robots raced alongside thousands of runners along the 21-kilometer course in Beijing, China on Saturday. Some of the robots that took part were as short as 3 feet 9 inches, while others were as tall as 5 feet 9 inches. They had to resemble humans and be able to walk or run. Wheels were not allowed. The winning robot was Tiangong Ultra, which crossed the finish line with a time of 2 hours and 40 minutes, while the men's winner of the race had a time of 1 hour and 2 minutes. So at this point, they're pretty much...
Humans are fast.
Humans are faster by exactly 2/3. But think of how fast robots are evolving at this point. We're probably going to figure that out pretty quick. The fact that we can even come and be 1/3 of the speed of a human is kind of wild if you think about it in a marathon. Not we, but I'm not a robot, but you know what I mean, like robots.
Oh, self-report.
Yeah, that was me. What's it
Freudian
called?
slip.
That was a Freudian slip. Meet Root, the turtle with a mobility aid of Lego. So the turtle's got Lego aids. A turtle's got Lego aids. Anyways, woodpecker damages more than 20 vehicles in Massachusetts town. We seem to have a vandal in our neighborhood. I'm describing him as 18 to 24 inches tall, wearing black and white with a red hat, one resident said. Whimsical. Australian radio station secretly used an AI host for 6 months. That's fucking spooky.
Wow.
Yeah, that's fucking weird. Did you also see that they have tellers at train stations? I forget, either in Australia or Britain, that are able to be like electronic, like digital tellers that will interact with you with AI. But what they are is behind the glass, they're just a screen. They're not even like really there.
Yeah, no, I've not seen that.
I'm gonna send you a video of that later. That's like kind of what this is like knocking on. Everything's just gonna be AI. Naked man arrested for breaking into cram school. What's a cram school? Also involved in traffic accidents. Do you know what a cram school is?
I don't know. It's something I see in anime subtitles.
Cram school?
I think that's where you get like extra work done. I don't know. Or like makeup for work.
Saitama. A naked man arrested on suspicion of breaking into a cram school in Soka City, Saitama Prefecture on Monday night is also suspected of being involved in a number of traffic accidents in which 1 person was killed and 6 people injured, police said Tuesday. Wouldn't you think this guy would want to go low profile? Police said the suspect has been identified as Daisuke Nishimura, 48, whose address and occupation remain unknown. TV Asahi reported police told a news conference that they are investigating his involvement in a fatal hit-and-run, theft of a taxi, and 3 additional incidents that occurred before he broke into the cram school. According to the police, where multiple reports of a completely naked man with tattoos stealing a vehicle in Saitama City and causing a hit-and-run. This all sounds like drugs. Run incident in which a man on a motorcycle was killed. Later, who hasn't taken a little bit of acid and then, wanted to...
With a man on a motorcycle?
Yeah, exactly. Like, steal a cop car or have a hit and run with a man on a motorcycle or break into a school. I mean, I've never wanted to do that, but this guy does. Later at around 9 p.m., Nishimura reportedly stole a taxi in Kawaguchi City. The male driver in his 60s had 2 passengers in the back seat. When the taxi stopped at an intersection, Nishimura dragged the driver out of the vehicle while yelling, "I'll kill you," and assaulted him, then stole the taxi with the passengers still inside. That's fucking hilarious. The taxi crashed outside the cram school. I'm glad I read this because this story was way crazier than the headline let on. Nishimura, still naked, entered the cram school at around 9:30 p.m. When a school official called out to him, Nishimura punched him on the right side of the head without saying a word. Yo! Police were called and took Nishimura into custody. Police said Nishimura has neither confirmed nor denied the allegations and quoted him as saying, "It would be bad if I told you that." That's hilarious. Everything about that is funny except for the school thing. I still don't know what a cram school is. I don't even feel like looking it up. But everything else was just funny about that. Even when he broke into the school and somebody started saying something to him and he didn't say a word and he just literally just decked the guy. That was next level. Sharks drew crowds who swam with them off Israel's coast until one man disappeared. Ooh. Japan is celebrating middle-aged men with collectible cards now. I mean, obviously, aren't we all? TikTok trend for Dubai chocolate. What is it?
Wait, what? Middle-aged men collectible cards?
Yeah, Pokemon, dude. Think about it.
Oh, I thought they were gonna make cards that are like it's like a set that's all about middle-aged men.
Maybe it'll
Different
be
types of
Charizard when his back is given out, and War Turtle when he gets into heavy drinking.
Blastoise is when he's just fat and like stuck on a toilet.
Exactly. Snorlax being Snorlax in general.
That's just normal.
Yeah, it's just Snorlax. That's literally that. There's no that's representative of people in middle-aged at that point.
Yeah.
TikTok trend for Dubai chocolate causes international shortage of pistachios. Okay.
Wow.
Eggs are so expensive that some Americans are decorating potatoes this Easter. All right, here's your hard-boiled potato. Anti-duck. Everybody switched to baked potatoes this year. Eggs are anti-duck town shoots down plan for giant duck statue. I don't understand that one. Man sinks in. They hate ducks, so they're just gonna shoot down the plan. I mean, I get the pun, but like that's man sinks in quicksand and emerges with a girlfriend.
Well,
that's a nice story. That's the heartwarming story of this whole today.
well, hold on. Let's see if the girlfriend is. Check to see if the girlfriend's human.
If the girlfriend's human?
Yeah.
A Michigan man who ended up waist deep on an unstable beach was rescued and found himself in a relationship. "I knew not to panic. I have to be a macho man," Mitchell O'Brien said of his mindset while trapped in the sand. Okay. The quicksand depicted in films when a daring adventurer is suddenly ensnared in a life-threatening vortex of sand is largely a myth, but that didn't make it any less scary when Mitchell O'Brien slowly began to sink. Mr. O'Brien was on Vans Beach on the northeastern shore of Lake Michigan with his friend Brianne Sika last weekend hunting for Leland bluestones, a byproduct of the iron ore furnaces that operated in the nearby fishing village that attract rock hunters. There's a lot of extra info. Some dredging had been taking place on the beach, and Mr. O'Brien, 37, from Traverse City, Michigan, said he had thought the sand felt unstable. "That looks really dangerous," he recalled Miss Sika saying. "I turned around and ended up walking right to the spot she said was dangerous. I got my one foot stuck because I was trying to get my electronics out of my pocket. I knew not to panic. I have to be a macho man. You can't ask for help when you're trying to impress the girl you're with." Soon enough, Mr. O'Brien was waist deep in the sand. He urged Miss Sika to take photographs or no one will believe us. After 15 minutes or so trying to pull him out, the two began calling 911. They were hampered by spotty cell phone service, and the sound of breaking waves made it hard for Mr. O'Brien to be heard. That's crazy. When Mr. O'Brien finally connected, I said to the 911 operator, "I think my girlfriend is also trying to call." At the same moment, she was saying, "My boyfriend is stuck." Aww. They had talked about the possibilities of relationship. It was the first time they had referred to each other by those words. Mr. O'Brien is a recovery coach and has been in recovery from alcoholism for 4 years. Miss Sika, 36, also works in the recovery industry. As they waited for emergency personnel to arrive, Mr. O'Brien said he had remained calm. He was pretty sure he wasn't going to sink all the way under the sand like in a Looney Tunes scene. This is a good story, I gotta say.
Yeah, good find.
It is. As soon as my foot got stuck, it hit the bottom. It felt like cement, he said. As it happens, drowning in quicksand in real life is nearly impossible.
You're looking impossible?
Nearly impossible. Scientists say sand is denser than the human body, so even if one's legs sink, the air in the lungs keeps the body too buoyant to go all the way under. Still, Mr. O'Brien wasn't budging. He tried to dig himself out, but the waves kept returning the sand he had scooped away. 4 firefighters soon arrived. They gave Mr. O'Brien a life jacket, put a rope around him, and pulled. One firefighter joined him in the muck, being careful not to fall in himself. Between them pulling him, pushing, and me crawling, I got out, Mr. O'Brien said. It took about 10 minutes. Dan Besson, the Leland Township Fire and Rescue Chief, told MLive that the city was posting cautionary signage at the beach to warn people about the dredging outwash. The first time we've had an issue. Mr. O'Brien's ordeal might not have been as dramatic as the scene in The Princess Bride, when Buttercup sinks instantly in sand in the fire swamp, and Wesley dives in headfirst to rescue her, as you wish. But there was still romance. Mr. O'Brien said that he and Miss Sika had been really good friends before the beach visit. But for a long time, neither one of us knew that we were interested in each other. Something about sinking in quicksand seemed to concentrate the mind wonderfully, and now they are official. That was a good one.
Yeah.
Burning sex toys cause 3 alarm Staten Island fire damaging homes.
Wait, what?
A burning sex toys causes a 3 alarm Staten Island fire damaging homes.
That's awful.
Yeah, that was a really 0 to 60 right there. World's first sperm race to be held in Los Angeles. We all know about the sperm race. That happened. I don't get it. Belgian teens arrested with 5,000 smuggled ants as Kenya warns of changing trafficking trends. That's crazy. I think we might have even talked about that one, or I talked about that somewhere. It might have been on here. Like, they're starting to get like really crazy with smuggling different shit in different countries. New Mexico high school baseball player charged. Team suspended amid allegations teen urinated in opponent's water jug. Classic.
That's fucked up.
That's fucked up, but that's classic. I don't condone it. Nobody think I condone that, but that is classic.
I believe you condone that.
I do not condone urinating in your opponent's water jug.
I don't condone.
I don't. But that is classic, I will say. Woman called AAA during standoff to fix a tire the police had just spiked. That's fucking hilarious. Hell, I bet that sounds like a Florida kind of thing. Oh, EastIdahoNews.com. Okay. Idaho's getting crazy. Helicopter crash in South Africa blamed on unsecured penguin. That's hilarious.
What?
Yeah, helicopter crash in South Africa blamed on unsecured penguin. Let's look at that one real quick.
Like the penguins of Madagascar?
They are my favorite fictional penguin.
Yeah.
The South African Civil Aviation Authority said a low-altitude helicopter crash that didn't result in any injuries was caused by an unusual passenger famous for its lack of flight experience, a penguin. That's hilarious. I didn't even think about that. The penguin can't fly. The SACAA's incident report said the pilot had 3 human passengers landed on Bird Island off the Eastern Cape on January 19th, and a passenger described as a specialist placed a penguin from the island in a cardboard box and brought it aboard the aircraft. The pilot conducted a risk assessment of the flight. However, he omitted to include the carriage, transportation of the penguin on board, the report said. The passenger riding in the front seat of the helicopter held the box containing the penguin on his lap, securing it with his hands, but he lost his grip after takeoff, and the box slid into the pilot's cyclic pitch control lever. That's a classic situation right there. You never hold a box while you're messing with a cyclic pitch control lever. That's just a classic goof right there. Anyways, especially a box with a penguin in it. The lever was pushed to the far right position, as it would, causing the helicopter to roll to the right and strike the ground with its rotors. That's fucking crazy. The report said the helicopter, which landed on its side, sustained serious damage, but no human or penguin passengers were harmed. How do you know the penguin didn't get bruised up from that shit? A small little guy. That was fun.
Yeah.
Man accused of making it with a corpse on a New York City subway train. That's fucked up. Here's one that I really wanted to talk about, but I don't know why I didn't put it on the list. UK creating murder prediction tool to identify people most likely to kill. That's fucking crazy. That's Minority Report, dude. That's Philip K. Dick.
Yeah.
That's like legit. Algorithms allegedly being used to study data of thousands of people in project critics say is chilling and dystopian. The UK government is developing a murder prediction program which it hopes can use personal data of those known to the authorities to identify the people most likely to become killers. Researchers are alleged to be using algorithms to analyze the information of thousands of people, including victims of crime, as they try to identify those at greater risk of committing serious violent offenses. Literally Minority Report. This is exactly what this is. The scheme was originally called the Homicide Prediction Project, but the name has been changed to Sharing Data to Improve Risk Assessment. That's way more innocuous. The Ministry of Justice hopes the project will help boost public safety, but campaigners have called it chilling and dystopian. Obviously, the existence of the project was discovered by the pressure group Statewatch, and some of its workings uncovered through documents obtained by the Freedom of Information request. Statewatch says data from people not convicted of any criminal offense will be used as a part of the project, including personal information about self-harm and details relating to domestic abuse. Officials strongly deny this, insisting only data about people with at least one criminal conviction has been used. But what if that criminal conviction goes down to like a parking ticket or something like that? Drunken disorderly conduct, stupid shit like that. Cops bust drunk man wearing pink thong, fake breast, pink wig. What do you think of that murder prediction thing?
Yeah, that's terrifying. There's an anime that's like that too. Yeah, it's something that it's another sci-fi thing now. I think we could have predicted they were going to do that.
Yeah, well, 100%. They predicted it in Marvel with Project what is it? Project Insight, I think it's called. Yeah, it's a thing. Yeah, you're right. Cops bust drunk man wearing pink thong, fake breasts, pink wig.
Whoa.
Whatever.
What's wrong with that? Why are they busting?
That's what I'm saying. Whatever. You know. Cops investigating if Missouri foster mom traded a kid for a monkey to boost their exotic animal collection. That's what I'm talking about.
What?
This lady looks like the female Joe Exotic, too, if she was like 80 years old. Or if he was 80 years old.
What?
A foster mom in Missouri has been taken into custody as authorities investigate whether she gave up one of her children in exchange for a monkey. Brenda Deutsch of Winfield, Missouri, fostered more than 200 children over the years, as well as reportedly being a collector of exotic animals. What?
Who bought a child for a monkey is another good question.
I mean, that's a great question, actually. Deutsch now faces 3 felony counts of neglect, child abuse, and child endangering. Give it to Mike Wood. Who would have a monkey to sell for a child, and who would want to give up a monkey for a child? That's another question.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you just have a child at that point if you want a child and you already have a monkey? Deutsch now faces 3 felony counts of neglect, child abuse, and child endangering. Allegation of the missing child that was later located in Texas. A witness who had come forward with some information regarding the systemic abuse that was going on at home had said that they had been asked to bring the child down to Texas and bring the monkey back in return, he said, according to KSDK. Obviously, we have to do more investigation to see if that's actually credible or if that's true. According to KSDK, probable cause statement said Deutsch arranged for the girl to go to Texas to stay with her friend, where the child was allegedly left alone in a house with exotic animals and dirty conditions. Wood said the allegations against Deutsch were particularly heinous and just disturbing to read. 2 things that really stood out was the number of children that had been fostered through that home and then the allegations that these types of abuse and emotional neglect had been going on for what seemed to be perhaps a decade, he said. According to the probable cause statement reported by KSDK, police launched an investigation on November 21st following an anonymous tip given to the Missouri Department of Social Services Children's Division that reported the alleged mental and physical abuse of the child. The victim told the police that Deutsch had hit her with a paddle, shoes, and an open hand. The child added that one time mom forced another person to hold her down. Yeah, the Deutsch would steal her clothes and give them away as a form of punishment. Alright, it's a fucked up lady with a weird collection, I guess, of animals. Nevada Man, we already read that. King Charles plays Twinkle Twinkle Little Star on a carrot at Windsor Castle. Fun. Giant Mars balloon escapes Kennedy Center Plaza, rolls toward highway. I heard about that one. That's fucking hilarious. Meet the woman who shares her home with 1,100 cats. Fun. Man steals snake by stuffing it down his trousers. Florida ranked among the most likely to survive an alien invasion in the 6th and scoring 7.55 out of 10. That one was from last month, but I thought I'd drop that in there because that's pretty funny. Presidential advisor says U.S. shot down a UFO in 1962 and JFK was killed for trying to tell the world. The White House Director of Science and Technology, we already said that, manipulate space and time. Something bizarre is happening to people who use ChatGPT a lot. Allegedly, these people are actually, like, getting addicted to it. New Pope urged to share the Vatican's UFO secrets after decades of silence. That's interesting.
Is a new pope already?
No, that's like people that are coming out and saying that the new pope should do that is what that was. I actually read that one and it's kind of misleading, the title.
Yeah, a little misleading.
Here's one that I wanted to talk about on here that everyone's talking about, but I always forget about. Did you hear about the James Webb telescope?
No.
So they found signs of life 120 light years away on this planet that apparently has like just an ocean over it. Apparently the planet is like almost like, I think it's entirely an ocean. Planet called
What are the signs of life?
K218b is 8.6 times the mass of Earth. It is located about 124 light years from Earth. Gases found are the same that are produced by algae on Earth. There you go, right there.
Whoa, that's awesome.
Scientists do not announce discovery of actual alien life, though. April 16th, Reuters, in a potential landmark discovery, scientists using the James Webb Space Telescope have obtained what they call the strongest yet signs of possible life beyond our solar system, detecting in an alien planet's atmosphere the chemical fingerprints of gases that on Earth are produced only by biological. The two gases, dimethyl sulfide, or DMS, and dimethyl disulfide, or DMDS, involved in Webb's observation of the planet named K218b, are generated on Earth by living organisms, primarily microbial life such as marine phytoplankton and algae. Make sense of the latest ESG trend. I started to read an ad there. This suggests the planet may be teeming with microbial life. The researchers said they stressed, however, that they are not announcing the discovery of actual living organisms, but rather a biosignature, an indicator of a biological process, and the findings should be viewed cautiously with more observations needed. Nonetheless, they voice excitement. These are the first hints of an alien world that is possibly inhabited, said astrophysicist Niku Medsudan of the University of Cambridge Institute of Astronomy, lead author of the study published in Astrophysical Journal Letters. This is a transformational moment in the search for life beyond the solar system, where we have demonstrated that it is possible to detect biosignatures in potentially habitable planets. With current facilities, we have entered the era of observational astrobiology. That's an amazing statement, and I love that term. Observational astrobiology. That's fucking cool. Medsudan noted there are various efforts underway searching for life in our solar system, including various claims of environments that might be conducive to life in places like Mars, Venus, and various icy moons. K218b is 8.6 times massive as Earth and has a diameter around 2.6 times as large as our planet. It orbits in the habitable zone, a distance where liquid water, a key ingredient for life, can't exist on a planetary surface. Around a red dwarf star smaller and less luminous than our sun, located around 124 light years in the constellation Leo. A light year is the distance light travels here, 5.9 trillion miles. One other planet has also been identified orbiting this star. Interesting. It says that it's a Hycean world, a world covered in water, like Kamino. Our buddies at Kamino.
Isn't Uranus covered in water? Or Neptune?
No,
That's the
sorry,
color of it.
I was gonna make a joke there. But is Uranus covered in water? What is there anything covered in water in our solar system besides us? That
Guess
was
not, huh?
a dumb question.
I always thought that there was like plenty of stuff with water on it, just like not exactly water, but like liquid. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like condensation from frozen things or something.
Or just like maybe it does get warm enough for there to be water, but it's like not water. Like,
I wonder if any planets in our solar system have any moons that have water on them, because a lot of moons tend to be kind of weird, right? In our solar system, like
yeah.
there tends to be a lot of weird moons, almost like mini planets.
Tell us more about what you know about our moons. What do you know?
I know that there's some moons that like have like let's look real quick. Weird moons in solar system.
What's up with the moon?
10 weirdest moons in our solar system.
Europa?
Enceladus. Saturn, ring planet, small inner satellite. Enceladus is one of the most intensely studied and debated worlds in the entire solar system. It is newfound fame to the discovery of huge ice erupting into space along fissures in its southern hemisphere. There we go. Moon's thin icy crust. All right. Callisto. Callisto, the outermost of Jupiter's Galilean moons. Callisto is the third largest moon in the solar system and is only slightly smaller than Mercury. Main claim to fame is the title of the most heavily cratered object in the solar system. No pun intended, but this is just a quick crash course of some odd moons. 243 Ida, an asteroid designated as a minor planet, has a moon reassuring just 0.99 miles across on its longest axis thanks to the largest asteroid's weak gravity. Dactyl is unlikely to be an object captured in orbit, but the alternative, the Ida and Dactyl formed alongside each other, raises many questions as answers. Ida is a major member of the Cronus family of over 300 asteroids, all of which share similar orbits. The family is thought to have formed 1 or 2 billion years ago. Okay? Iapetus has two distinct claim to fames, and in any list of weird satellites, the first became obvious when it was discovered in 1671. It is much dimmer when seen on one side of its orbit compared to the other. Its leading hemisphere, the half that faces forwards as it orbits Saturn, is dark brown, while its trailing hemisphere is light gray. One early theory to explain the color difference was that the leading side is covered in dust generated by tiny meteorite impacts on smaller outer moons, which spirals towards Saturn. Interesting. And Nereid was the second moon found to orbit Neptune. Its claim to fame rise from its extreme orbit. Nereid's distance from Neptune ranges between 870,000 and 6 million miles. That's fucking crazy. Io, this is the one that I've heard about. The innermost of the four giant Galilean moons, solar system's largest planet, Jupiter, while the outer three are, at least outwardly, placid, frozen worlds of rock and ice. Io's landscape is a violent mix of yellows, reds, browns, full of bizarre and ever-changing mineral formations created by sulfur and spills onto its surface in many forms. Io is the most volcanic world in the solar system. Io's strange surface was first observed during the Pioneer space probe flybys. And Hyperion is the strangest-looking satellite in the solar system. Its surface resembling a sponge or coral with deep dark pits rimmed by a razor-sharp ridge of brighter rock and ice. That's crazy. What'd you say?
So that's cool.
Yeah. That sounds scary.
Sounds like a Sith homeworld.
It does. Titan. Saturn's largest moon, Titan, is unique in the solar system as the only satellite with a substantial atmosphere of its own. A discovery that frustrated NASA scientists when images from the Voyager probes revealed only a hazy orange ball. The Cassini orbiter was fitted with infrared and radar instruments that pierce the opaque atmosphere, revealing a softened landscape of rivers and lakes that is unlike any other world in the solar system. That's fucking crazy. I never knew that shit. That's fucking nuts.
What?
Despite being... Did you just hear that? Did you hear that?
What?
Revealing a
Say it again?
softened landscape of rivers and lakes that is unlike any other world in the solar system, except for Earth.
What moon?
Titan. Saturn's moon Titan. That's fucking crazy. Despite being larger than Mercury, Titan can only hold onto its thick atmosphere because of the deep cold. Found some 0.9 billion miles from the sun, the moon's average surface temperature is freezing, negative 179 degrees Celsius. That's fucking crazy. Negative 290 degrees Fahrenheit. Titan's atmosphere is dominated by the inert gas nitrogen. All right, we don't really need to get too much into Titan, but that's crazy. Miranda is one of the strangest worlds in the solar system. Voyager images revealed an extraordinary patchwork of terrain seemingly put together at random. Some parts are heavily cratered and some relatively uncratered, indicating their youth as they have been less exposed to the bombardment. One prominent feature is a pattern of concentric ovals resembling a racetrack, while elsewhere parallel V-shapes form a chevron-like scar. Mimas. When the NASA's Voyager space probe sent back the first detailed images of Mimas in the 80s, scientists and public were shocked by its resemblance to the Death Star from Star Wars. That looks crazy like it. Do you see this right now?
No, I'm not looking. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, it's cool. It looks like it, though, literally, just like the Death Star. And Saturn moons Pan and Atlas are the smallest moons in the solar system. However, despite their size, their influence can be seen clearly from Earth in the form of a prominent gap they create in the planet's solar system ring. Crazy. That was a cool little crash course. Power cut and chaos in Spain and Portugal caused by rare atmospheric phenomenon, says operator. Beneath the United States, a silent collapse of continental stability. That's what's happening in the United States right now, a silent collapse of continental stability. You heard it here first. John Greenwald Jr. Rumors flew months ago about a classified James Webb briefing to Congress. NASA first said no records, but I appealed and won. Now they found documents. I read this and they don't really talk much about it. They just said that some NASA guys met up about the James Webb telescope and some crazy shit might be happening. I don't know. A machine just beat a human at being human. The Turing test has been passed. That's fucking crazy. Do you know about the Turing test?
Yeah.
That's fucking nuts. I mean, it doesn't seem that hard for a robot to beat a human at the Turing test, but still. A terrifying new theory of what's behind the Tic Tac UFOs that keep rising from the ocean in front of the U.S. Navy sailors. I don't know what
hear about that.
Yeah, I don't know what their theory is. UFO expert who released a new video this week showing the infamous Tic Tac has revealed bombshell theories about the phenomena. Jeremy Corbell, an investigative journalist and filmmaker known for his work with George Knapp. Yeah, Terry documented unidentified anomalous phenomenon. What is it?
He's like a very overly eager UFO documentarian.
Witness described self-luminous, wingless, tailless craft to rise from the Pacific Ocean. Yada, yada, yada. What's his, Yeah, I don't know. I don't really feel like getting into Corbell too much right now.
Yeah.
But he's got an idea of what it is. Anyways, Jacques Vallée says he's concerned about modern ufology's reliance on information provided by the government or military. There we go. That was a perfect segue right there. Literally. UFO expert claims aliens are murdering innocent people. Fun. Tropical.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go. Tropical tree in Panama has evolved to kill its enemies with lightning. That's pretty funny. Have you heard about that?
No.
I read about this. It's a tree that I can just tell you about it. I don't even really have to like look it up. It's a tree that's mad old. It's like 100 years old. and it's a specific type of tree that evolved to basically get hit with lightning. And what it does is it reinvigorates it by killing all like the brush and the like algae and or like the brush and the mold and like all the bad shit on it. It's kind of awesome, honestly.
It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's a cool like it's kind of an interesting concept, like the idea that this tree can withstand like that much. Like it has increased conductivity from what I understand, like this tree, and it's able to like ground itself or something. And I guess only the part of the tree that gets struck by lightning gets damaged and the rest of it's like relatively good. And it just kind of
Is there like
grows
a
out.
whole forest full of these trees? Is there a lightning forest?
Well, sort of. So there's these trees kind of just like grow like they scatter around. Do you know how sassafras grows? How it just pops up
No.
randomly. Well, it kind of just pops up randomly in like the woods. If you go out in the woods, you'll just find it like just randomly out there. That's how these kind of grow. They just like they're randomly just popping up like in the forest over there. The next article, the Ultra-Terrestrials Among Us, Hidden Civilizations on Earth. Okay, cool. Quantum computers will be a dream come true for hackers, risking everything from military secrets to bank information. Can we stop them? Infrared AI.
That sounds
Yep.
like they're just trying to get old people scared now.
Yeah, well, that's a very like. I mean, that
Hackers
seems kind of.
hackers using quantum computers.
That sounds
Like,
pretty likely,
believable.
though. Yeah,
It is, but it just sounds like, oh
it
no,
sounds.
those quantum computers. So
It sounds like a bunch
how are
of
we gonna
like
stop the hackers?
what's the called words? What are those words called? But it sounds like a bunch of buzzwords. You know what I mean for like older folks.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Infrared AI camera proposed to scan Earth's skies for signs of alien visitors. Sure. Influencers' new threat to they do real quick. NASA can't even show us fucking footage in outer space from our satellites without blocking the signal when something weird comes into orbit or like passes by the camera. So what the fuck what are they gonna do? I don't know if it was NASA, but I'm blaming them right off the bat. Influencers What? Influencers' new threat to uncontacted tribes warns group after U.S. tourist arrest. Did you hear that?
What do they do with
Influence.
these? What do they do? What do these influencers do?
I don't know. This one might be worth a quick read, honestly. Social media influencers pose a new and increased threat for uncontacted indigenous people. A charity is warned after the arrest of a U.S. tourist who traveled to a restricted Indian Ocean island. Mikhail Viktorovich Polyakov, 24, allegedly landed on North Sentinel Island in an apparent attempt to make contact with the isolated Sentinelese tribe. Filming his visit and leaving a can of Coke and a coconut on the shore. Survival International. Why do people always do weird shit in situations like this? Why are people so eccentric and just odd? You know what I mean? Like, he didn't have to do that. He really didn't. Survival International, a group that advocates for the rights of tribal people, said the alleged act endangered the man's own life and the lives of the tribe, calling it deeply disturbing. The U.S. said it was aware and is monitoring the situation. All right, that's crazy. U.S. Army reveals new plans for high-energy laser weapon combat drones. We already know about that. It's the Helios laser. Scientists spotted evidence of an... Yeah, old news. Scientists spotted evidence of an unseen universe, even though that should be impossible. Okay. Mystery object crashes in... Oh, did you hear about this? The mystery object crashes into New Jersey auto shop, leaves sizable dent after fiery bang, once in a lifetime thing. I think this was a lightning bolt, though. If you watch, it's camera footage. It shows like a crazy flash and like a loud bang and a crash, and it looks like something falls through the roof. But then if you look like the next morning, it's literally just like a bunch of It looks like a circular, like drilled hole of ash. So it looks like something just hit it and just like basically like ashed it. Now, here's another thought that I had. What if this was like a satellite laser going off? Because did you hear that they want to put laser satellites in space? Did you? I posted about that recently.
I have heard that. Yeah.
That's like a thing that now they're talking about putting actual like laser satellites in space now. That's crazy. So what if this was a laser satellite that they put in space that just they were testing out and they thought that they would shoot it in a relatively safe area, and then all of a sudden it just hit this random dude's auto body shop in New Jersey. CERN's 91 kilometer collider plan raises questions about risk, scale, and secrecy. A TikTok astrologer arrested for predicting a new Myanmar quake. I heard about that one. That one was crazy. A UK scientist achieved first quantum secured data transmission over 410 kilometers. So what's that? That's teleportation, right? First quantum secured data Oh, no, that's not teleportation. That's basically just like a quantum computer version of an instant message, right?
I have no clue, dude. I don't know what we're talking about now.
It said UK scientists achieved first quantum secured data transmission over 410 kilometers.
Is it an extra fast message? Like, why did it need to be quantum?
That's what I'm saying. I don't understand that. Unless we're talking like to different parallel realities. Older than Stonehenge, groundbreaking discovery at unusual ancient burial site rewrites Neolithic history. I think that was the Lake Michigan one.
Huh.
Reality isn't real until it's copied enough times, study finds. Secretive Russian satellites release mystery object into orbit.
Say that again?
Reality isn't real until it's copied enough times, study finds. That's above the norm news.com. So take that with a, grain of salt. Insects are wiping out global crop. Billions lost. No end in sight. Smoke and mirrors. The calculated deception of UFO disclosure politics. UFOs and nuclear weapons. Did extraterrestrials detect our first atomic tests? Well, it seems like it did, according to Roswell. Europe's new disaster plan puts the public on the front line. What are they expecting? And we talked about that when they mentioned that they want to prepare people like 72 hours worth of like food and like shelter.
Oh,
in Europe. That's their like new disaster plan. That's crazy. Forgot to mention that earlier in our World War III talk. From spiritual beings
72 hours worth of supplies to help.
I mean, that's how long it'll take for people to find you buried in the rubble.
Gotcha.
Anyways, massive circular tomb filled with battle-scarred people unearthed in Peru. Is life lurking beneath Mars? New seismic study says it's possible. David Duchovny has a new show on History Channel. Good for him.
Friend of the show, David Duchovny.
Yeah, total friend of the show. He knows all about us. I actually really like, I actually watched a David Duchovny movie recently called California with a K. It was very good. It was basically like a dark version of Natural Born Killers, if you can imagine that.
Why don't you just go on the paranormal Reddit?
That's what I was doing.
High Strangeness?
High Strangeness would actually be more of a paranormal news, I think, honestly.
Yeah.
That one has a lot of paranormal news. All right. And top and past month. Family went on a hike, but someone or something else showed up in the photo. After months of... did you see this on High Strangeness? After months of silently eating lunch near me, a woman handed me this napkin with a strange symbol and walked out without a word. And if you look it up, this symbol is like an upside down like a sigil of Satan. Did we talk about this? Did we talk about this?
No, I've never heard about this.
It was crazy. I looked into this. It was I guess it's the. Do you see what's on the screen right now?
No, hold on, let me look. Wait.
Yeah, check it out real quick. So, the backstory to this is that
Oh, okay.
yeah, backstory to
Well,
this
first
is
of all,
that
you see the Freemason symbol, right?
Oh yeah, I do. This is upside down though.
Huh.
But yeah, some people were saying that it's a poorly drawn and upside down sigil of Lucifer. I mean, honestly, I think that's pretty well drawn. I like that.
Well, I mean, it's just a piece of napkin. Maybe he just needs to flip it upside down.
Yeah, that's yeah, exactly. But you know what people were describing it as? They showed a where is it? They showed a picture of something, and it was basically the reason why it's like that is because the sun, it's the sun in the moon and the earth in the center. So you have that center square is the earth, and then the bottom triangle is the sun. And then that top square is supposed to be, I guess, the moon.
That's cool.
Yeah, I did a little bit of reading about this. It's a weird little thing.
It's a weird little thing.
Yeah. Sigil of Satan. Weird little thing. All right. What else? That was the Sigil of Satan story on Reddit. Maybe I'll post a picture of that. I'll give credit to the guy who posted that. I'll actually give credit to him right now because he deserves it. But the guy who posted that was named Thundercock Shit King. He was a Redditor on Reddit named Thundercock Shit King. I'm gonna give credit where credit is due. There was a video of a security guard letting a ghost in a hospital. Did you see that?
I've seen a video just like this. But if it's new, then probably not.
This gave me like spooks when I watched it, like, or goosebumps, whatever you want to fucking call it. Like, this made me feel fucking weird. And this could have been all acted out, you know what I mean? This could have been like, you know what I mean, just planned. The guy just really planned it really well. But it just seems so natural. Like, it seems like he's genuinely talking to somebody and like pointing them in the right direction and like, yeah, come with me. I'll take you there. Like, he does the whole 9 yards. He puts his shit down. He goes over to a wheelchair. He grabs a fucking wheelchair for this person.
They're not there. When does he realize they're not there?
I forgot when it was, but I think it was when he walked to the room with the wheelchair and he got to the room. People were just looking at him like he was fucking nuts. But yeah, that's crazy. UAP captured by pilots.